Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models again. Welcome to part 5 of the Tamiya Honda CRF1000L Africa Twin 1/6 scale motorbike. This one I'll be doing the wheels. There's a jig that comes with this one to actually put the spokes and things in. So this is all completely different and new to me. Actually using tools to put tools together. So I've had a flick through the instructions, and basically we're putting two halves of the rims together, then putting it into the jig, and that's when you put the spokes in. There's two sets of spokes for each wheel. It starts with the front and then onto the rear, which is done much the same as the front, and then there's, I don't know, the rear brake, and then the rear wheel disc goes onto the wheel and the tyre goes on. That's probably and then we fit the rear wheel on, so I'll probably get as far as that in this. Hopefully it'll be quite a short video, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right, I'm going to get the bits together that I need for the first bit, and then we'll go from there. Right, the two parts of the front wheel, I've cut off the sprue but left the spiky bits on here because these are a bit different to most model kits in that the pieces on here are what's called undergated. Instead of being attached to the outside as most kits are, they're actually attached, if I can just about zoom in and show you here, inside. So when you cut them off, it doesn't leave anything on the outside of the wheel, which is lovely. Not many manufacturers do things like that, but on these parts where it's, say, ideal to be done like that, I'm actually going to cut that a couple of times to get rid of that bit, and then you can just get in there. So it still needs a bit of filing down, but you can see that from the edge there's no sign of any part on there at all. So I'll get these cut off, sanded down, and then they need to be painted. Right, that's the two halves of each of the rims glued together, all nicely done. I've also started on the spokes. Now these are very, very fine. They actually come one sprue for 4 sets of spokes. I've taken 2 off, and you can see obviously what's left. All of this is just sprue. The important bit is that, which was on there like that. Now I will need, as I say, 4 sets for each wheel, and they go together something like that. And obviously that's one half which goes through there. Each of these goes into one of these little holes, and then the same again basically on the other side. So I've got quite a lot to do. I've got to get all of those, 4 for each wheel, so there's 8 of these total, and obviously the rims need to be painted as well. So as the centre of these has to be the same colour as most of this, I'm going to get all them cut off and ready to go first, get them primed and painted, and then see about inserting them using the jig we got here. So yeah, priming and painting. Now they do make a point of saying not to paint the very tips here, which, if I can show you, yeah, get that focus on. Obviously these very end pieces here will actually go into the rim and be the bits that are holding it all together, gluing it together. So they make a point of saying don't paint those. So I'll be masking the very tips, but not obviously the main piece. So the centre needs to be, on these it's actually going to be semi-gloss black. They also say to mask the centre down here. Obviously that's the tyre is going to be covering not the very outside bit. Zoom back out again, there you go. Not the very outside bit, but the rest of it will be covered anyway, so that doesn't need any painting. They say to mask it so the paint doesn't come through to the inside, although the inside is going to be the same colour. So I'm not entirely certain to that. I assume that just means they don't want it to have little blobs. So I've got both of those done. I'm going to put them on there just to keep them out of the way. I need to get the other 6 of those cut off, as well as, say, they attach from the sensors. There are, for some reason, little blobs on each one that you've got to be careful to cut off and then sand down slightly to get rid of the nubs. But these obviously are very, very fine, so you've got to be very careful when you're dealing with those. But yeah, I'll get them cut off and painted and ready to go. Not sure about how I'm going to do the masking on these. I would think, yeah, maybe just masking the spoke is going to be much easier than trying to mask the centre. But priming first and then decide how I'm going to do it. Right, so I'll catch you when it's primed. That's it all primed and painted in chrome. The centerpieces do need to be black, but I figured it would be a lot easier to mask each of the spokes rather than trying to mask all the intricate bits inside all of the inner piece. So I primed it all in black and then, as I painted the chrome. The rims themselves I've just primed in black. They need to be black anyway, so I need to go over those in black when I go over the centers in black. So I need to leave these to dry and then get each of the spokes masked off, which is going to be great fun, but I don't see any quick way of doing anything other than that. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next while, getting those masked up once they're dry. So I'll leave them be for now and come back and show you what I've got when it's done. Right, the masking on the spokes, here we go. The easiest way I've found of doing it is to get some tape that's just longer than you need. I'm cutting off the perforated, sort of serrated bit, and I can get 3 out of one of these widths. So 2 cuts down there, so I'll take that into 3. I can pick up the tape and then I can feed it behind where I need it to go, get it stuck along the length and then stick it to itself all the way along. Really I only need to mask the beginning bit, but it's just going to be easier to get it all covered and then I know where I am. So I've got 64 spokes to do. There's 8 spokes on 8 sort of sprue pieces. So I'm sure it's boring you me doing 2 of these, so I won't bore you with any more than this. I'll get them all done. It takes longer than you think when they're not that sticky. As I say, I'll get them all done, obviously off camera, and then come back once they're all done and get them painted. All of this needs to be a semi-gloss black. So I'll, while I'm here, might as well do the 3rd one, and that's the end of that bit of tape as well. And the end of this piece. I like to think I'm getting better with it with each one, but in effect I'm really not. I'm not overly concerned if these aren't going completely into the centre, because I can always touch that up with brush painting. with the chrome again when the black does go over the top of that. But that's what I'm aiming for. I'll get that done, make sure I get that covered, get that done with all of the ones that I've got to do in there, and so when they all look like that, I'll be able to get them painted. So see you in several hours. Well, that's it all repainted in black. Just going to remove the masking so we can see what we're dealing with. These are not worried about how neat any of that is. That was just to stop the overspray coming through the holes on the inside, but now they're done, don't need them on there anymore. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Right, they're quite nice in the black. Then the spokes. Let's have a look. I know I'm going to have to touch up some of the ends of these, but I'll be brush painting those, so conveniently some of this has started to come undone, so it's quite easy to get off. Yeah, all in all, they're okay. I'm not sure which side is the front yet, so I'm going to be basically putting these together into the wheels, and then so touching up with brush painting the bits that need it. So things like right in the centre here where the masking couldn't quite get in, it's going to need a little bit. This Vallejo chrome does actually brush very nicely, so I'm not too worried about that. Probably would have been just as easy to brush paint the whole thing, but there you go. Maybe next time if I do another one I'll think about it that way. But alright, I'll get this all off camera and then see about putting them together. See you in a sec. Right, the first bit of the spoke on the front wheel involves using part 1 and part 2 and gluing them together. So I've taken some of the paint off to give me good surface contact, and looking at the instructions here, actually you don't need the instructions, there's a little cutout just in here and a little prong sticking out there. So they obviously need to line up, they'll only go together in one way. They won't go together like that, There you go, that's them locked together. So I need to glue those together, so I'm just going to use some extra thin. Actually going to be easier to put it on the inside of this one. Going to smear some around where it's going to make contact and hopefully get it the right way around. Yep, first time. Get that stuck together. Just put a bit of pressure on that for a few seconds and that should be enough. I do notice on this some of the black I haven't got the edges properly on some of this, so that's definitely going to need some touching up. Thinking how to do this. Get some more glue in there anyway. Right, the best way to repaint, which way around is this going to be? That's going to be on the outside, so it's actually going to be accessible to me when it's together. So assuming I've got the same problem on the other bit, I'm going to put it all together first and then repaint, and then I need to varnish and gloss it up a bit. So that's that together. The other two need to do the same, so I might as well do that while I'm here, and then we'll see about getting it into the frame. Excuse me doing this quickly. There you go, that's glue into there, same as last time. And again there is a cutout and a blob. Let's get them the right way around. And that, go together like that. Actually, that one seems much better. There's a couple of bits on there that are still not quite right, but all in all, I'm happier with that side. So let me put that aside for a bit, and we'll see about getting this together on there. Now, on this, there's an arrow. Here's my little pointy man. There's a little arrow on here, embossed on. You can just about see that, yep. So that needs to go in a particular direction, and that direction is where this ridge is, and where somewhere around here, there you go, just in here again, there's a little arrows. So they need to line up on that. And then that one, the arrow points the same direction, goes on there. Like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, it certainly looks like that. Right, it says don't glue it onto the jig. Funnily enough, I wasn't going to. Now all of those should be lining up with the little holes. So I need to carefully get these into there. Now, it does say use a pair of tweezers, but use the rubber over the top of it. So I will be doing that. And the rubber's in the box, so I'm going to go and get that and be back in a sec. Like I never went away. Right, so I will be using the thick tubing that they provided. Just going to cut off a couple of lengths of that. And then I can use that over my tweezers. To give me a better, softer able to bend these without gripping them and causing problems. So I need to get that tip into that hole. Sort of like that. Just make sure that's still lining up where it should be. Yep. Right, so this is going to be pretty fine work and pretty boring work to watch, I'm pretty sure. So don't seem to go in very well. Not sure if something's not quite right or I'm doing it wrong. I'll do a couple more and see. Most of them seem to go in quite well. So I think it might just be me, or maybe I've painted one of them holes a little bit heavier than the others so the spoke isn't going in properly. When I've got a few more in, I'll be able to have a look around and see more from the other side. Oh, that's come off there. Most of these are going in very nicely, so I'm not too worried about that now. The tips of these I was quite happy with the painting on, so I'm not too concerned about having to touch up those, but I do need to touch up, let's say, the sensors somewhat. Sorry, I'm rambling now because I'm just concentrating too much on what I'm doing and not what I'm saying, so apologies for that. I'm not going to make you sit through doing all of these, but I thought doing one was going to be worthwhile for you. Yeah, a couple of those just need forcing in a little bit further. Right, let's see how that's looking. Yeah, none of them are actually coming through the holes, so that's probably a good thing. Right, that's pretty much that first spoke in. So a couple of them are bent where they're not fully in, so I'm just gonna, yeah, a little bit more force, a little bit of wiggling seems to be doing the job there. Right, so I'll get the other one on and show you when I've got the wheel almost assembled. And there we have the front wheel. It looks good, I'm happy with that. There's lots of detail in the spokes there, but that's all fine. Yeah, I like it, it's fine. So I still need to touch up the paintwork a little bit. Not too bad on the chrome actually, I'm fairly happy with that. There's a couple of little bits in the centre that it could do with a little bit of touching, but mostly it's just the black around the edge here that I need to do. But I'm going to leave that to dry fully and make sure that's all alright. But yeah, all in all, I'm happy. I'm going to go and do the back wheel now while I'm letting this one dry, and then I'll be able to touch up the paint on both of them, and then we'll be on to the next little step. That's the last few bits for the getting the rear wheel on, which is going to be the end of this. The wheels themselves have come up nice and shiny, nice and glossy as I wanted them. Happy with both of those. Obviously the gold bit in there is going to be covered by the tyre, so we don't need to worry about that. That's those two. Obviously we've got the chain and the guard under the bottom of the bike, all just primed in black at the moment. When that's dry, I need to get them painted up. Various different aluminium, steel and colour, and yeah, blacks as well. Get all them done and then get it all assembled for you. So I'll get them painted up and then show you some of the assembly in a little while. This is all the pieces I need for the last stage of this build, this bit of the build anyway. I've built some of the sub assemblies already, like I think it's the throttle pedal and some other little bits. All the screws and metal bits for this one as well. Right, the last bit, I keep saying bit, I can't help it, oh well. Some of this needs to go onto here. We have that one, goes onto the front of those, like that. So let's get some glue on there. And then get that back on there again. Right, I'll get a few more little bits assembled and then finish off. See you in a sec. Now it's time to put the tyre on. I've put the disc on there, which has come out nicely. I had to repaint this as it didn't come out as well as I was hoping. Thought I'd going to get away with brush painting the outside bit and titanium, but it didn't work. So I stripped it back down to the plastic, primed it and started again. So this goes on from this side. As it says, make sure you got the tyre going the right way round. There's an arrow on there showing the direction of travel, which you need to have going that way round when you're putting it on from this side according to the instructions. Right, it says you should do this while it's on the jig, because then otherwise you're squashing it against things. So let's slip that back on there, get that the right way round so it locates all the way down somewhere. Should be there we go. So that's nicely on there, so I've got something to push against without having to worry too much about it. Got the direction of travel on there, and then we're just pushing on the first side and popping the rim round, just working my way around. Seems like the best way of doing it. Never even done this before, I could be completely wrong, but that's how I'd put on a tyre on a bike or anything like that, so it's got to be about right, isn't it? Careful not to go too far and push it off the other side, which is what I've done. So just working that back round from the other side as well. It feels like that's on. So let's take it off of there and have a look. Yep, I'm happy with that. The first wheel done. I like it. Good. It's even got the little inflation nozzle there. Right, that's that. I've off camera built these bits together onto this and slided that on there. It's not actually glued. The next bit is going to be putting the gear onto there with 5 screws. Now, cleverly I've arranged the camera so it's nicely in my way. So let's see, get that in there, 1 screw. One. I'm sure you've all seen people put screws in before, so I'm going to continue this off camera so I can get the camera out of my way and not bore you completely senseless with it. So I'll get the rest of these screws in and then slipping the wheel into there. I'll do that for you in a minute. Right, that's all of that screwed onto there. There was one bit I forgot to get out, the nut for the other end of the bar, but there we go. Right, this goes on there without gluing apparently. I assume on a real bike obviously it would all be glued together, but or bolted together, or one piece, or however. Right, then there is the metal rod that goes through the middle there, just like the axle. And then we need to get that onto here. Now this is obviously the braking system, which needs to go onto there, hopefully without dropping it. Alright, let's try and do it at a different angle so I don't end up dropping it everywhere. So let's try this. That goes across there. That obviously all goes inside and inside. Right, that's not a good fit. Why is that not a good fit? No, it goes, it's just a bit tight. There you go. No, not happy with that. Well, usually when these things don't go together properly, it's a pretty good indication that I'm being an idiot. But in this case, I don't think it is. I think it's just a tight fit. So I've got that through there after all. A couple of bits did come apart, so let's put them back in. Slide that out slightly, get that in. There you go. Right, the bolt goes through from, we've got that way around from the other side, and this other piece goes on first. So we've got that through there, then the bolt goes through that, through all of it, hopefully out the other side. So it's not that bolt, see, there's me being an idiot. It's this one that I had ready. So that goes through, give it a little wiggle to get it home, and it comes out the other side where the nut goes onto it. Get that, should come up through here. Right, they do give you 2 spanners, so you can obviously use one either side. One on there, one on there. hold one while you turn the other, tighten it up. Now, obviously, not being a working model, it doesn't have to be ridiculously tight, it just has to be tight enough to not fall off, so when I get a bit of resistance I'll pretty much be stopping. Trying to do this on camera is tricky. I'm sure I'll get better with practice. Next time I do one of these massive bikes, I'll be amazing. There we go, that's that tightened up, and that's that in place. It's not quite straight, so let's see. There is some adjustment on both of these. That looks like that's too far in, so let's loosen that off a touch. I can pull that back. There we go. That's better, that's in line. Then let's tighten that back up again. So, the wheel does turn, but obviously I don't want to scratch up the brake in there, so I won't be turning that again. Right, the next tricky fun bit is the chain. The chain comes in two bits. Painted each of these little studs in chrome and the rest of it in metallic grey. So it'll go together and look pretty much like that. But you need to put it together while it's on. So we've got the low bit going down, that going over. So one side goes on, that will come up in place over all of these. There you go. What does it say about gluing? It just doesn't say anything about gluing, so I'll be gluing that. So let me get that in place now. Just get a few of these teeth glued. Obviously the other end of it goes on to another small sprocket. Looks like it goes on there but doesn't. Oh, right, let's go just beyond that. That's good. I thought for a minute the chain was too long. Right, that should be enough to hold that there for me. Good. Right, I'm gonna get the other side on now and then worry about the other end in a second. So I'll get that where I need that to be. Get some more glue across that side. Give that a second to stick. That should do it. Then the other bit, making sure I get it the right way round. That's on the outside. We'll be going right up the end here in exactly the same way. Off camera, of course. There we go. So that's that in the right place there. Get some glue around that. And let's get the top half down on there as well. There we go. Get some glue on that as well. And then I can go along the middle bits and get that glued down. But again, you don't need to see all of that, so I'll do that off camera. And I'll get the last couple of bits from this page stuck on. There's one decal to put on that I forgot to sort out. It goes onto the top of the chain guard, so I need to dig that out as well. Alright, so I'll get a couple of bits done and then come back and show you the update. Now we're bringing in the rest of it. I've got the decal on here and the chain all glued up, the chain guard on down the bottom there as well, all looking good. Now this is the fun bit, I figure out how to get this fitted to here. I've got one tube that needs to go up and through. I've got one little plastic bit that it says important, attach first. Put that through there. So that's what we're going to be attaching to. So obviously they need to make sure that it's got sort of an axle. Alright, that's where the wheel's going to go. I see. It's not going to go through there after all. Oh, it's going to... I'm muttering now because I don't know what I'm doing. Right, let's see. We'll get that. Needs to go on the outside. That needs to go on the inside. And that needs to line up with there. By the looks of it, that's pretty... Oh, that's got to go on the inside as well. That'd be silly. That's got to go through there. Right. Now I've got 3 screws that are going to hold this in place apparently. One big one, one shorter one, and one very short one. So the big one is obviously going to be going through the main bit. Let's get that through first. Needs to go through all of it. Come out the other side. Doesn't actually attach to anything on the other side. Now I get the impression that I've forgotten something. Right. It doesn't that attach to anything. I'm going to have a flick back through the instructions and see what I've missed out. Okay, what I missed out was nothing. There is actually a nut which I have put in, and is inside the other side of that hole, but I wasn't quite lined up with it. So because it wasn't quite lined up, it wasn't going in just far enough. So let's see if I can... There we go. Don't know if you can just see the end of that tightening through there. That's that now attached. So we need to get that lined up properly. Then we can get the... before I do that, let's get this tube fed through with the others, I believe. Let's have a look. It just says up through and yeah, up the other side of here. Yeah. Trouble is, it's still used to being curved where they're wrapped up in the box, so not terribly easy to get them to go where you want them to go. Let's try again. No, not there. Nearly. Nearly. There it is. That's where it says it wants that to go. Careful not to get it kinked up and around. Right, hopefully some of these are going to start getting attached to things, but not today. It goes through that, it's got a little detail of that eye, that does come back through. That attaches to there. Let's get one of those attached. There we go. That one comes back through here. Attaches to that. Cool. That one goes along next to it. What have we got there? Oh, that's the other end of that. Right, okay. Yep. That's that in there then. Right. Now there's 2 more screws to put in. One from this side. Once that gets lined up in there. There we go, nearly there. That's the longer one of the 2. Through there. A little bit of wiggling. I'm very wary that there's lots of bits sticking out here now. Probably should start wearing gloves, but oh well. That's that. One more screw holds the engine together. Put that down again. Turn that around so you can see what I'm doing without losing all my screws and everything that I've still got to do. Just get that in the right place there. There we go. Get that the right way around. So the chain's looking nice. Yep, I'm happy with that. Right, the last bit. 3 bits left. What have we got? 2 of that, 1 of that. That's those, and these bits are just glued on then. We have this way round. DCT pedal. I don't know what that means. I'm sure somebody will tell me at some point. Select either, one or the other. Okay, well I won't use the boring one. Got to use the impressive one then, haven't I? Which has got to go that way round onto those bits, right. I have no idea if this is the correct one for the finish that I'm going to be doing the bike in, but there you go. I like that one better. I'll put that aside in my spares box. Right, the last piece, apart from the stand that I put together, let's see if that works. It says that goes on there, and they go in there. There we go. Nice. Right, the last piece is my big silver guard that goes that way round. 2 and two bigger screws from the front and the one at the back. Yeah, I can't put it on the stand yet. Right, I have to move this around and get that on, and then I'll show you it finished. That's this part finished. I'm very happy with it. It's coming together quite nicely. There's still the other wheel that's obviously made, but nowhere to attach it yet. But it definitely gives an idea as to the scale of the finished item. So yeah, it's looking good. It's lots of detail. That's stand even works. It's unfortunate, again, you're going to be covering most of it up with plates and panels and things, but all in all, I'm happy with that. It's starting to look like a proper motorbike now. It's all coming together. So yeah, I'm very happy so far. I hope you've enjoyed this part of the build, and I hope you come back for the next part, when hopefully we'll get some of these tubes attached to things. But yeah, thanks for watching. As ever, hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel, and come back soon for the next bit, where we're going to be putting on the Sprocket Guards. If that doesn't bring you back, I don't know what will. We're actually exactly halfway through the manual now. We've come to the staples. Just finished this page, just about to start this one. So that's, in theory, halfway through the build. In practice, a lot of the back is details for where to put the decals and the paintwork and things, which obviously is something that I'm going to be covering anyway. So right, yep, as ever, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next bit at some point. Thanks, bye.